Hey everybody, I'm Sam Webb and this is Shopify Dev Tips. Today, I want to talk about how you can take your Shopify objects, convert them into JSON objects, and then use that in your JavaScript. So let's get started. The foundation for a lot of complex and interesting interactions that you see across the web is usually powered by JavaScript. So if we take this product page, for example, and let's say we wanted a more robust product selection. Well, we would accomplish that through JavaScript. But one of the issues you run into really quickly is that your liquid templates and the data you get back from those templates is detached from your JavaScript. And so the first thing you might look to is Ajax. There's an Ajax API, and you could pull that data with your JavaScript so that you can have access to it. But the problem is that that creates an extra request for information you already have access to, information you've already requested. One extra request isn't that big of a deal, but throughout the life of any build, there will be one extra request here, one extra request there, and over time it becomes a lot. So by taking a proactive step in keeping the number of requests down, your website will run faster for longer. Shopify has thought of this, and they've added in a JSON filter to be able to convert those Shopify objects into JSON. So let's take a look at how you could access that. So I'm going to create a snippet and I'm going to name it object data. And I'm going to render that snippet in theme in the head. So back in our object data, we're going to make a script tag. I like for my JavaScript to be contained, so I'm going to create an immediately invoked function expression. And basically what's happening here is we're creating a function, then we wrap it in parentheses so that it's evaluated, and then we call it with this second pair of parentheses. And that will run everything within the function body. So I'm going to add window.objectData equals window.objectData, or an empty object. And what this is doing is basically saying if object data already exists, just assign it back to itself and don't change it. But if it doesn't exist, create a new object with that name. And this is where we start mixing our JavaScript with our liquid. So I'm going to say if product, then we're going to say window.objectData.product equals open, closing, double curlies, and we're going to say product and filter JSON. And what this filter does, this JSON filter, it takes the product object and converts it to JSON and then returns that, which will be then assigned to this product. And if I refresh the page and I inspect, we'll see that we have object data.product, and that has all of the product data. So it's got whether it's available, it's got the content, a bunch of information, the images, the variants, right? This is where we get into product selection, and it's got all the information about the variants. And because if we go back to theme.liquid, right? Because we added this in the head right here, and our theme JavaScript isn't run until the end of our body, then that means in our normal JavaScript, we'll have access to this object and be able to pull data when needed. I'm going to scripts in theme.js. I can hop in here and say console.info object data.product. So now as you see in our JavaScript, we have access to this product information. And this will allow us to be able to use that data to make more complex features without having to make requests for this data. This is not only useful for products, but it's useful for blogs and articles. It's useful for collections. And so anytime you feel like you need data that would usually be on the front end, and you want to make, and the first thing that comes to your mind is to make a request to the Ajax API, just think to yourself, is it possible for me to get this information from the liquid before you go in that route of Ajax? Thank you for watching this video. If you found it helpful, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and I'll see you next time.